Welcome to the deep dive. We take foundational sources, break them down, and hopefully turn them into some real knowledge for you.
And today, we're tackling a big one, a really big one. Excerpts from the Bhagavad Gita. It's probably the most famous battlefield conversation ever recorded.
Absolutely. And our mission really is to see how this ancient text helps navigate, well, the ultimate moral crisis. It's about purpose, action, consequences.
Exactly. How do you live a meaningful life when faced with conflict, with difficult choices? What wisdom emerges under that kind of intense pressure? That's what we're digging into.
The scene itself is just electric from the start. Kurukshetra, huge field. Sanjay is describing it all to the blind king, Dhritarashtra.
And you've got these two colossal armies staring each other down. The Pandavas, defended by Bhima, and the Kauravas with the formidable Bhishma leading them. It's epic scale.
And the sound, the description is intense. Conch shells, drums, horns, just this massive wave of noise.
Right, but the text specifically mentions the transcendental conch shells, Krishna's, the Panchajanya, and Arjuna's, the Devadatta.
And the impact.
It says the sound was so immense, so uproarious, it shattered the hearts of the men on the opposing side. Imagine standing in the middle of that. That's where Arjuna is.
And right there, amidst all that chaos, he just breaks down. This is the Arjuna Vishad Yog, his crisis of grief.
Yeah, he asks Krishna, who's acting as his charioteer, remember to drive the chariot right out between the two armies.
Why? What's he want to see?
He wants a clear look. Who is he actually fighting? Who has come here ready to die?
And when he looks,
It hits him hard. He sees, everyone, fathers, grandfathers, his revered teachers like Drona, uncles, brothers, sons, friends, his whole world.
oh wow, the people who raised him taught him.
Exactly. And the realization just paralyzes him. This immense compassion and grief wash over him. He understands his duty as a warrior means destroying his own kin, his own roots.
The text describes it physically too, right? It's
Yeah.
not just mental anguish.
Oh, absolutely. It says his limbs start trembling, his mouth goes dry, his famous bow, the Gandiva, actually slips from his hand. His mind is just reeling. It's a complete shutdown.
So he starts arguing against the fight.
He does, and it's a powerful argument focused on the consequences. He basically says, what good can come from killing our own family? He predicts it will only lead to sin.
Sin and
And the destruction of the family unit, the traditions. He fears it will lead to widespread irreligion, societal breakdown, even that women will become polluted and produce unwanted progeny.
so a total societal collapse rooted in this one battle.
Yes, he sees it leading to chaos, where even the ancestors won't receive their rights and will kind of fall from their position. It's a disaster scenario.
In his conclusion,
He throws his hands up. He says he'd rather be killed, unarmed and unresisting, than fight them. He chooses an action driven by this personal horror and attachment.
wow. Okay, so that's the setup. Arjuna, the great warrior, completely undone. How does Krishna respond to this?
Well, this is where the whole philosophical core of the Gita kicks in. Krishna's response is sharp. Unexpectedly sharp, maybe?
Sure how?
He looks at Arjuna, hearing all these learned arguments about sin and consequence, and calls his reaction petty, degrading impotence, and weakness of heart.
Oof, that's blunt.
It is. He essentially tells him, stop this. The wise don't grieve for the living or the dead. Get up and fight. It's a direct command cutting through the emotion.
Okay, so he dismisses the grief. Where does he start the actual teaching? How does he rebuild Arjuna's resolve?
He immediately shifts the focus from the temporary situation, the body's on the battlefield, to the permanent reality. This is the start of Sankhya Yoga, the philosophy of the eternal self.
The eternal self, what's the core idea there?
The absolute fundamental point is that the soul, the self within the body, is eternal. It was never born, it never dies, it's unchanging, unbreakable, indestructible.
So when Krishna says the wise don't lament,
He means they understand this distinction. The body is temporary, but the soul, the actual conscious being, persists. It can't be harmed by weapons, fire, water, wind, nothing. It's permanent.
the text uses an analogy, right, about clothes.
Yes, a very famous one. Just as a person takes off old, worn-out clothes and puts on new ones, the soul discards an old, useless body at death and accepts a new one.
So death isn't an end, it's a transition.
Precisely. It's a change of state for the eternal soul. And Krishna says a sober, wise person isn't bewildered or disturbed by this change.
Okay, I get the philosophy. But it still feels like a huge jump to go from the soul is eternal straight to therefore you must engage in this brutal battle. How does that connect?
It connects through dharma duty. If the soul is eternal and can't truly be killed, and the body is just temporary, then the fear of killing or being killed loses its ultimate sting. What matters then?
Action.
Action according to your nature and prescribed duty. Krishna is very clear. For Arjuna, as a kshatriya, a warrior, fighting in a righteous cause is his duty. There's no better engagement for him.
So not fighting is actually the failure here.
From Krishna's perspective, yes, it's a failure of his dharma. And Krishna lays out the practical consequences too. If he refuses to fight, he'll lose his reputation. People will say he fled out of fear.
And for a warrior king.
That kind of dishonor, that infamy, is considered worse than death, so the stakes are incredibly high, both spiritually and socially.
Krishna then gives him this sort of win-win scenario, doesn't he?
He does. He says, essentially, fight. If you're killed, you attain the heavenly planets. If you conquer, you enjoy the earthly kingdom. He's trying to get Arjuna to act for the sake of duty itself, detaching him from the anxiety about the outcome, win or lose, life or death.
Okay, so act, but without being tied to the results. That sounds like the next big idea, karma yoga.
Exactly. We've moved from the why act, because the soul is eternal and it's your duty, to how to act. Karma yoga is the art of action, specifically working without attachment to the fruits of your labor.
So you focus on the work itself, the duty, not on whether you'll succeed or fail.
Precisely. The goal is equanimity, keeping your mind balanced in both success and failure, happiness and distress. That state of balance is yoga, according to this path.
The text says you have a right to the action, but not the results.
That's the key rule. Perform your duty, but don't ever think you're the cause of the results or be attached to not doing your duty. Action is necessary.
You can't just opt out of action entirely.
No, even basic survival, maintaining the body, requires work. So inaction isn't really an option. The key is how you work. Work should be done as a sacrifice, dedicated to the Supreme. Otherwise, Krishna says, work binds you to this material world.
And this isn't just theoretical, right? There are examples.
Yes. Krishna points to great leaders like King Janaka, who apparently attained perfection just by performing their prescribed duties without attachment. They set the standard for everyone else. The idea is that right action, done correctly, elevates both the individual and society.
Okay, so act with detachment.
Yeah.
But what makes that so hard? What's the main thing that gets in the way of this pure, detached action?
Krishna identifies the main culprit very clearly. It's lust, or intense material desire.
Lust, as in just sexual desire.
Broader than that. It's intense craving, born from what the text calls the mode of passion. It's this driving need for sense gratification, for acquiring things, for results. And when that craving is frustrated,
It turns into anger.
yes, it becomes wrath. Krishna calls lust the all-devouring sinful enemy of the living entity.
Why all-devouring?
Because it covers our real knowledge, our spiritual understanding. It resides in the senses, the mind, and the intelligence, essentially hijacking our discernment and driving us towards selfish, binding actions.
So the internal battle is against this lust.
Right. The goal is to conquer this enemy by regulating the senses, starting from the beginning, and controlling the mind and intelligence.
If lust clouds our knowledge and action, what helps clear it? This seems to lead towards devotion, bhakti-yoga.
It does, to act selflessly as a sacrifice. You need an object for that sacrifice, a focus for that devotion. So Krishna starts revealing more about his own nature.
How does he describe himself?
He declares himself the origin and the dissolution of everything material and spiritual. The source of everything. Everything rests on him, he says.
Like pearls on a thread.
That's the image used, yes.
Yeah.
He is the thread holding everything together. He explains. He's the taste of water, the light of the sun and moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, the ability in man, the original fragrance of the earth.
He's the essence within everything.
The subtle, fundamental reality behind the manifest world. He's the life of all that lives, the intelligence of the intelligent, the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire.
Okay, so if that's who he is, who seeks him out? Does everyone?
The text mentions 4 kinds of pious people who begin to render devotional service. Those who are distressed, those who desire wealth, those who are inquisitive, and those who are searching for knowledge of the absolute.
Different motivations, but all turning towards him.
Yes, but Krishna says the best among them is the one who is in full knowledge and is constantly engaged in pure devotional service. Because their motivation isn't temporary relief or gain, it's love and understanding.
Hearing all this, Arjuna must be, well, processing a lot. But he wants to see it, right? He asks for proof.
He does. After hearing about Krishna's glories and accepting him as the supreme truth, he asks, "Can you show me? Show me that cosmic form you've described."
And Krishna agrees. This leads to the Vishvaroop Darshan, the vision of the universal form.
Yes, but Krishna tells him, "You can't see this with your present eyes." He grants Arjuna divine vision, the ability to perceive this universal reality.
What does he see? What's it like?
It's described as completely overwhelming. Unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited arms, legs, bellies, radiating effulgence everywhere, like thousands of suns rising all at once. Arjuna sees all the gods, all beings, the entire universe contained within Krishna's form.
Terrifying, I imagine.
Utterly terrifying and awe-inspiring. And then the vision gets even more intense. Krishna reveals his identity within that form.
Which is?
He declares, "Time I am." Specifically, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people."
Whoa. Okay, that puts the battle in perspective.
Completely. Krishna then tells Arjuna that almost all the warriors on both sides are already destined to die. They're already slain by his arrangement, by time.
So Arjuna's action, it doesn't change the outcome.
The ultimate outcome of who lives and who dies in this battle is predetermined by the divine plan, by time. Krishna tells Arjuna, "Therefore, get up, fight, be merely an instrument." He's already defeated them. Arjuna just has to act his part.
That's a mind-bending concept, acting when the result is already known. How does Arjuna react to seeing? Well, time itself is a destructive force.
He's completely overwhelmed, fearful, bewildered. He praises Krishna, acknowledges his greatness, but he begs him to withdraw this terrifying form and return to his pleasing, two-armed, human-like form. He can't handle the cosmic vision.
What's the lesson there? Why show him something so overwhelming if he can't sustain it?
Krishna makes it clear. This universal form, this understanding of his ultimate power and plan, cannot be grasped just by studying scriptures, performing penances, or giving charity. Only by undivided devotional service, bhakti. That's the only way to understand him as he is, standing before Arjuna, and ultimately to enter into the mysteries of his nature.
Okay, so devotion is key. You also mentioned earlier these modes, passion, etc. How do they fit into this picture of action and liberation?
Right, the three modes of material nature gunas. Goodness, sattva, passion, rajas, and ignorance, tamas. Krishna explains that these modes bind the eternal soul to the temporary material world. They condition our consciousness and actions.
Can you quickly break down what each mode leads to?
Sure. Goodness leads to happiness, knowledge, and conditions. One, to a sense of well-being, often leading to rebirth in higher, more pleasant conditions, like the heavenly planets in the cosmic scheme.
Okay.
Passion. Passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. It binds the soul to fruit of action, working hard for results, for sense gratification. This keeps one entangled in earthly life, driven by ambition and attachment.
And ignorance.
Ignorance deludes everyone. It leads to madness, laziness, sleep. Actions done in ignorance are destructive or foolish, leading to rebirth in lower forms of life or hellish conditions.
So we're constantly under the influence of these three.
Yes, they are always competing for dominance within us, influencing our thoughts, actions, and ultimately our destination after death. The goal of spiritual life, then, is to transcend all three modes.
Transcend them. How do you get beyond them?
By becoming steady, unwavering, by not being disturbed by the effects of the modes, whether you experience honor or dishonor, happiness or distress, whether you see things as friendly or hostile, you remain neutral.
And how is that neutrality achieved?
Crucially, Krishna says one who engages fully in devotional service, bhakti-yoga, without fail, immediately transcends the modes of material nature and comes to the spiritual level.
So devotion, again, is the direct path.
It's presented as the most effective way to rise above the material conditioning. This leads to how one actually attains perfection or liberation.
Which relates to the moment of death.
Yes. Krishna states that whatever state of being one remembers when they quit the body, that state they will attain without fail. Your consciousness at the time of death determines your next existence.
So the instruction is?
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. It's a constant practice of remembrance and action.
And this path of devotion, bhakti, is ultimately the way out of the cycle.
Yes. Krishna describes his supreme abode as a place from which, once attained, one never returns to this material world of birth, death, old age, and disease. He promises to personally deliver those whose consciousness is fixed on him.
It's an incredible arc. From Arjuna's total collapse to this comprehensive path of action, knowledge, and devotion, does Arjuna finally accept it?
He does. After hearing everything, Arjuna declares, "My illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt.
And the crucial part.
I am prepared to act according to your instructions." He's ready. The doubt is gone. The resolve is back, based on this deeper understanding.
Wow. So after all that complex philosophy, what's the final, most essential instruction Krishna leaves him with?
It boils down to something very direct. Krishna calls it the most confidential knowledge. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail.
Simple yet profound. Become completely absorbed in the divine.
And then comes the ultimate assurance, addressing Arjuna's initial fear about sin.
Right, his worry about the sin of killing his relatives.
Krishna gives his supreme instruction: abandon all varieties of religion, meaning other duties or concerns, and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
That's powerful. Surrender is the key to freedom from sin.
It reframes the entire problem. Arjuna started worried about the sin of fighting. Krishna ends by implying the only real failure, the only sin in this context, would be not fighting, not acting according to his duty, not surrendering to the divine will.
It's a complete reversal. Action performed in the right consciousness is liberating, while inaction based on attachment leads to bondage.
Precisely. And the text concludes with Sanjaya's final observation. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mysticism, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality.
A guarantee of success when action aligns with divine guidance.
So maybe the final thought to leave you, our listener, with is this. The Gita starts with Arjuna paralyzed by attachment, preventing him from doing his duty. If destruction performed in divine consciousness is liberation and inaction based on attachment is bondage, what attachment in your life might be subtly preventing you from seeing or performing your necessary work, your duty, right now?